These are 10 realities you need to know about living in Vancouver, Washington. Hey, welcome back to Living in Vancouver and Camas, Washington YouTube channel. I'm your host, Hannah Dubyne, and I'm excited you're here today because we are talking about 10 realities of living in Vancouver, Washington. This is kind of a mix of pros and cons, just different things you know if you live in Vancouver, Washington. So shout out if you guys are local viewers. And for those of you who are thinking about moving to the area, these are things that you should know. By the way, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to our Weekend Happenings with Hannah email newsletter. We send out the best 3 to 5 local events every single weekend, and we have more fun content on Instagram. The first reality of living in Vancouver that you know if you live here is that you really need a car to get everywhere. Clark County is really set up as a car-centric area for transportation. We do have other modes of transportation. Of course, you can walk, you can bike, you can take the bus. We do not have a light rail system on this side of the river. But all those alternative methods, biking, walking, the bus, they are much more minimal and the infrastructure just isn't quite there for them. Walking, we do have a lot of sidewalks. Sidewalks are mostly required in new developments, which is amazing. I think we're much more walking friendly here than other parts of the country. I've been to Florida and Texas before, and it's really hard to walk in some areas there. They're starting to add more bike lanes. So when neighborhoods are developed, they make the road a little bit wider and they add a bike shoulder, which I love. And for busing, I would say that's very rare in this area. I don't personally know anyone who uses the bus. It's not a very efficient mode of transportation here. You're gonna be on that bus for a long time. I'd really recommend you have a car. The second reality of living in Vancouver is that you're never too far from a freeway. In Vancouver, we have really 4 main freeway highway systems. We have 2 that go north and south and 2 that go east and west. We have I-5 and 205 going north and south. And then going east and west, we have SR14 and the 500, which cuts through the middle of Vancouver. Not growing up in this area, I thought that this was the most amazing thing. When I came here, I grew up where all we had was I-5 and we were about 15 to 20 minutes away from I-5. And so it made it hard to get on the freeway, but now it's so easy to zip around town. The third reality of living in Vancouver, Washington is that you're going to be neighbors with people who have different political views than you. Personally, this is one of the things I really love about Clark County. There's a whole diverse range of beliefs here, and you don't have to worry about, being the odd person out or not getting along with certain folks of different, political beliefs. It really is a pretty 50-50 split area. Of course, if you're in the city, if you're downtown, it's going to be more blue, and as you go out to the country, it's going to be more red. But I would say overall, people get along, and it's a really good mix. The fourth reality of living in Vancouver is that the Waterfront that opened in 2018 is absolutely amazing, but it's uber packed on the weekends and in the summer. This is one of my favorite spots to hang out personally. I love going for a walk down there, grabbing an ice cream, getting dinner, but on the weekends and in the summer, it is really busy, so you have to be okay looking for parking for a little bit. Thankfully, the parking garage did open up there in 2024, so there's more parking now. It's a pretty efficient garage with 2 stalls that let you go in and out. And overall, love the Waterfront. We've made many videos on it, so go check those out. The fifth reality of living in Vancouver is that you have to go over the river to do a Best Buy or an Apple purchase. We used to have a Best Buy on this side of the river in Clark County, but we do not now. That store shut down. I bet you guys can probably guess why, because when you're buying hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of dollars of equipment with a 10% approximately sales tax, you're going to go over the river and buy the same thing from the store that's 10-15 minutes away and save that sales tax. So technically you're not supposed to do that per Washington state law. You're supposed to report the sale and still pay tax on it, but who's really going to come after you, right? So when you make those big tech purchases or IKEA, new tires, big hauls at Costco, going over the river is essential. The sixth reality of living in Vancouver is that the PDX International Airport is actually amazing. It is ran very efficiently, and with our new remodel that happened in 2024, it's so zen to be in. I feel like TSA lines move pretty quickly. They keep the car lines moving really quickly. They're actually pretty strict there. So if you're picking someone up, just be mindful of how long you're waiting. but it is one of my favorite airports that I've been to in the country. The seventh reality of living in Vancouver is that even though we're in a relatively small county population-wise, we get all the big concerts and comedians that come either to Portland or to us here in Vancouver and Ridgefield. We have the Moda Center over in Portland, and we have some other venues that host concerts. Honestly, I don't go to a lot of concerts personally, but I have been to a few over the years. I know a lot of big names will come to town on tours here as a part of their West Coast stop. I have friends who really like going to see comedians, and they'll often stop at the Moda Center as well. And more of what's my cup of tea personally is to go up to the Ridgefield Outdoor Amphitheater and watch some concerts there. And that's such a great venue, and they actually have some really big names that will come up there. I don't know how they get them to come to Ridgefield versus Portland, but I'm really glad that they do. The eighth reality of living in Vancouver is that housing costs here have increased a lot over the last 10 years. If you're a Clark County native or you've lived here for a long time, you've definitely seen this firsthand. Maybe you've felt it as well. This is an important one to touch on because this is the industry that I work in. I work in housing. I have some numbers for you guys here that I want to share. So the median sale price, I'll start with the old median sale price. The median sale price in 2015, 10 years ago, was $260,000 for a single family detached home. So you have your four walls and your own piece of land. $260,000. Today, in 2025, the median sales price is $565,000. And so that number has more than doubled in the last 10 years. Really great if you own the home and you can sell it and cash on the profit. But if you're trying to buy, it can be challenging. And we have definitely appreciated faster than the national average here. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. Also, interest rates today are higher than they were in 2015. So housing costs are definitely a challenge here in Clark County. The ninth reality of living in Vancouver, Washington is that at the end of winter, you need a little bit of sunshine. And so it's good to go on a vacation. For me personally, once January, February, early March start rolling around, I'm really cooped up from the winter. I'm kind of over the holidays. I'm over cozy mode, and I'm needing some vitamin D. And so it's great to go on a trip. Myself and friends will go to places like Palm Springs or California, Mexico, Hawaii. Those are all choice destinations. Just get away for a couple days. It makes a big difference. The 10th reality of living in Vancouver, Washington is that coffee culture is a big thing here. It seems like every part of town has a nice little local boutique coffee shop, and Starbucks is really like a second resort for us. We also have lots of coffee stands, coffee drive-thrus in this area. Growing up in the Pacific Northwest, I didn't realize that other parts of the country don't really have this or don't have it as much, but there's just these little huts that sit in parking lots. Oftentimes they'll be in gas station parking lots or, areas where a full building won't fit, and you just drive through and you get your coffee. It's amazing. We have a video up about some of our favorite coffee shops in Clark County, so if you guys are curious about that, go check that out. Well, those are my 10 realities of living in Vancouver, Washington that I wanted to share with you guys today. Obviously, I could keep this list going and make it 20 or 30 or whatever. There's so many things to share about living in this area, but these are 10 really important ones that I think if you live in Clark County, you already know, and if you're moving here, you really should know. If you need help professionally selling or buying a home in Clark County, Camas, Vancouver, Ridgefield, myself and my team at Dubyne Realty Group, we would love to serve you. Text us or email us, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.